Hey guys, welcome back to the Reed Homestead. Patrick again. So, ice storm round 3. Okay? Melting snow turns to ice. Okay? So we have a cold advisory. North Carolina, central North Carolina. As you can see, there's all the melting snow. You want to clear your walkways and pathways now. I'm not going to do anything with the wood chip pile, but if you're into gardening, I'm going to clear that ice dam right there. All of this is going to turn to ice. So if you're into gardening, getwoodchip.com. Getwoodchip.com can deliver you some free wood chips for your garden. Woke up this morning, went and checked the orchard and the gardens, and some of the magnolias really, they got bigger leaves, collected a lot of ice, bent down. They didn't break, so that's good. But just went out there, knocked the ice off them, and revived them. Checked them this afternoon. They were doing good. You can see the roads out there. Okay, soggy. You're gonna have areas where there's puddles and everything like that. Starting at 7 o'clock tonight, there's a cold weather advisory. It's gonna be 20 degrees with the wind chill at 7. No big deal for you guys in the north. Down here, they're not used to black ice. So, what's gonna happen? All this melting snow that you see is going to freeze overnight. You can check, I watch, my application is AccuWeather. So also watch Ryan Hall Y'all, Max Velocity, Reed Timmers on YouTube. So they track the storm. People in North Carolina were saying this was no big deal. Well, no big deal for us. We didn't lose power, but if you were living in Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, or Tennessee, it's a big deal to you. So there's hundreds of thousands of people without power right now throughout the South. The freeze line was south of Raleigh, so we barely missed the second round that was supposed to come in. Started Saturday night, we got freezing rain and sleet, and then Sunday was supposed to pick back up, which it did. It was sleeting Sunday morning before noon, and then Sunday evening we were supposed to get the brunt of the storm. The cold front pushed that warm air with all the moisture from the Gulf, pushed it down a little further south. So thank God for that. We were able to escape that second hit, that second punch, that knockout punch from the storm. But starting tonight, all the stuff that's melting on the roads and collecting, you'll see puddles, especially where you have dips in the road. That stuff's going to freeze. So I checked the weather forecast. By midnight, it's going to be down to in the teens. Tomorrow morning when you wake up at 6, without the wind chill, it's going to be 13 degrees or 14 degrees. With the wind chill, it's going to be 11. At 7, it's getting down to 13 degrees without the wind chill. And with the wind chill, it's going to be down to 10 degrees. So everything that you see on that road, you see puddles and stuff, you're not worried about it. That's going to freeze overnight. And it's going to stay cold for the rest of the week. They're also saying, what's happening right now? Sometimes in Canada and the Arctic, you'll get, it's like a mini hurricane system. Puts out bands of cold air. And what's happening is, even though it's winter time, the Gulf is still producing warmer air relative to the Arctic, right? It's warmer air. And these two systems, these bands this hurricane kind of thing that's up around the North Pole in Canada, that's putting down bands of cold air, Arctic air, and that warm air from the south is coming up. They're colliding, and that's where you're getting these systems. This weather down south is going to be, so another snowstorm this weekend. I was, like I said, air traffic, so in the military right there. Part of that is being a limited weather observer. So you go through 5 blocks of training, 85% washout rate. Most people don't make it through. So that's through Biloxi. Know a lot of instructors down there. RIP, WD, Willie. Man, praying for your wife and your family. So anyhow, I wanted to go over a truck pack. Let me turn the truck off. I'm trying to defrost the windshield right now. This is generally okay, especially in the winter, but this stuff stays in my truck. So let me give you a show, give you a look, see what I got in my truck all the time. That's not it. Okay. You're really not going to be able to notice all this stuff. Kind of keep it out of sight and whatever. Family doesn't even really know it's, I mean, the kids know it's there, but okay. So here you go. This is the truck. Pardon the mess. That there on the floor, I don't know if you can even see, but right here, that is a 50 cal magazine holder. Okay, so you found that you can find those at military surplus stores or whatever. I got mine on eBay. I think I paid 25 bucks for it, but I keep most of my stuff in there. So it is airtight and waterproof. So good idea. You're going to keep some stuff in there. Another thing with this truck, hang on 1 second. Let me adjust this tripod. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to knock you off balance there a little bit. Okay, so this truck has, these seats pop up. A lot of trucks do. Right? You'll find a little lever under there. That's where your emergency jack is, and tire jack and all that stuff. Like I said, sorry about the mess. I really didn't expect to have to do all this so soon, but no better time like the present. Okay, so underneath this thing is storage. So wool hat, wool socks, mittens. I used to play a lot of golf, so these are very warm. Okay, just keep that in there. Okay, wool blanket right there. It's been there. I mean, it's been there for over a year. That there, you can see here. Let's see, right there. Okay, that's the handle of an Estwing camp axe. Okay, so you want to keep stuff like this in your truck out of the way. You know, it's always there. Now, these are sustainment pouches. You can find these on eBay. I mean, they cost next to nothing. I use them as receptacles, so when the kids are eating their candy and their chips, they got somewhere to put their garbage, so my truck doesn't look a mess when I'm doing videos. I showed you here. This stays in the middle. Usually have my boy Morris Kahansky's survival pot in the center console, but for the video I'm gonna show you a couple of things, a couple ideas, share some options with you. That's all I'm doing. Okay. So, do I have anything under here? No. Okay. So, same thing. Now, under this one, I've got all kinds of stuff. So, let's take a look. Food. I keep food in there and these things. There's some cotton, some fire starter. There's a ferro rod in there. Emergency mylar bivy. That's a separator. Oatmeal. Gauze. One of Sarah's gloves. This is chicken veg orzo. So orzo is pasta. I already put the chicken broth in there, and I buy dehydrated veg on eBay. Usually get 20 pounds. Not real expensive. That's potato buds, chicken broth basically, and veg. This is beef vegetable and macaroni. Okay. Bug spray. There's your Camp Axe right there. Bug spray. Got some tools, hammer, stuff like that. Now, underneath, back here, this is an emergency tire inflator, jumper cables, oatmeal, granola, my Balco Laplander. Okay, that's stuff that's out of the way. You don't even realize it's there. Okay, so that way, if you're on the road and keep some plasticware, some alcohol swabs, spices. This here is from Abercrombie hot peppers. So I bought some pepper flour, pepper powder, super hot peppers. Like my spice. Now, underneath the driver's side, if there is an emergency, you're on the road, you get stuck, you know, you might hit black ice and go into a ditch and it's freezing cold, okay? Who knows? Maybe you're traveling up north to see your wife's parents and stuff, and there's a bad snowstorm that's backed up on, I-81 North. Who knows? Keep stuff in your truck all the time. Make my own pumpkin seeds, after Halloween. Black beans. All kinds of stuff in there. More macaroni. It's got those oxygen packets to keep everything fresh. You can go through and rotate this kind of stuff. Got a water container, so Also, this is the improved military pop tent. Okay, pup tent, whatever. It's got the poles, stuff like that. So that stays under the driver's side. That's stuff that you really don't even see. No one ever sees it. It's this there, just in case. Okay? Now, everything's kind of cleared. I did shovel off some of the snow. Let's get you in here and we'll go through some of this stuff. Now, one of our friends had referred, you know, talking about wool jackets and everything. I was wrong about that one video. I said this would cost you $400 or $500. That's just for the vest, so without the arms. This thing will run you, if you get a brand new wool jacket like that, that'll run you between $700 and $1,000. So what you could do, what is it? Sweden never really got involved in World War II. So Sweden has brand new, issued, never used, old wool uniforms. That's where I got this. $60. You can also find wool gear online. These pants, for example, 100% wool. Let's see if you can see that. Okay, 100% wool, retains heat. I bid on these. Ended up getting it for under $50. It was a garment shop that was selling them. Look what I found in the pocket. This is what they were trying to sell it for. $160. Got it for under $50. So you're gonna go on eBay, look up old hunting wool pants, old hunting wool jackets, stuff like that. That's how you're gonna get your wool gear and not have to pay $1,000 for a jacket. Crazy. Dave Canterbury of Self Reliance Outfitters got a lot of great videos, man. Shares a lot of information, shows you a lot of stuff. Most of the stuff, he wants you to take his training courses and stuff, you know. So, but he does give you a lot of tips and tricks. So pretty cool. His website, Self-Reliance Outfitters, Pathfinder. Okay, this is the one of the Pathfinder titanium water canteens. Okay, it's single wall, so you can purchase something like this. I think it was under $30, so it's got a good price. Comes with a little stove. Okay, so you would build a twig fire. Now you can keep something like this in the car, in the trunk, in case of an emergency. One thing people don't think about in the winter is you do dehydrate quickly. So one way to warm up fast, your car runs out of gas, you're in a ditch, there's a ton of snow, it's freezing cold. The fastest way to warm up, hot liquid. Okay, so get some snow, pack it in as tight as you can. You can start a little fire, put that on there, warm it up. Fastest way to warm up, hot liquid. So if you watch mountaineering videos or, you know, that kind of thing, that's a reason all the mountaineers drink hot tea on the mountains. It's because it warms the body up. It warms the core up. Now, we went over Morris Kohansky. There's some other things. Dave's got a lot of cool stuff on that website. I could spend a fortune on that. Morris Kohansky's survival bush pot. It's basically a coffee pot, but this thing usually snaps on and doesn't. It stays on usually. So I tend to keep this in a sustainment pouch in my center console. Okay. God bless our veterans. If you are a veteran, probably a good time to check in with VA. Make sure you get your medications. You got another storm coming this weekend. Oh, man. This is a poncho. Okay, emergency poncho. It's the closest one I could find to my military service. So it does have the mylar lining inside, very important. Okay, so you can get something like that. These are just different options. This is usually redundant, but like Dave says, 2 is 1 and 1 is 0. So you kind of want redundancy. Anyhow, so that just goes in. Don't worry about the poncho. Doesn't matter what it looks like. What matters is its utility, its pragmatic use. Okay, now, canteen pouch. I usually keep fire starter, so yeah, there you go. Got some fire starter tabs. This is fire and flavor fire starters in there. This is a ferro rod. You can use a knife, you could use whatever, but okay, that's how you're going to start a fire. This is wax jute, okay, right here. So you could get a spark on that. It'll stay lit. You can get your twigs. Get your twigs, dried twigs and stuff. Get your knife out if it's wet. Just knock the bark off. Knock the bark off. Get some tinder, get some twigs. You're going to use that wax jute to start a fire. Put your twigs on it. There's your little fireplace. And there's your water. Emergency water. This is in case of an emergency, okay? This is why you're going to have this stuff. The poncho has grommets. So if you're not familiar with how to set up a poncho tent or shelter, you want to always have extra cordage in your car or truck. You can also get these things. Grommets are little holes. You just, in a tarp, for example, you just put that through, and it'll snap in to that grommet like that. You could use that to fasten your. This is a 30 mil round. So one of my pilot friends gave me this. It's just a practice round. It's not a big deal. So on the bottom you'll see that paint right there. If that was green, that would be cleared hot. This is just a dummy round. There's no black powder in that thing. Also, in my sustainment pouch with Moors, like I said, there's some fire starter stuff in here. I'm gonna have plenty of that. Okay. So, what do you got? You got tea lights, Blistex. These are Ranger bands. Blistex you can mix with cotton, for example, and start a fire. Storm-proof matches. Okay. What's this? Fire starter. So I make my own fire starters. These are, those cotton pads your kid might use to, your daughter might use for makeup. Right there. So those are the cotton pads. I just put mine in a little lighter fluid or rubbing alcohol, and then melt some wax, and then let it dry. I got them all in here. This is just a shoe polish thing. Okay. This is a waterproof container, by the way. So ramen packets. Okay. Good to have. I don't know what the heck is in the box. What is this? It's been a while since I've had to go through all this. Hang on, let's check it out. What is it? Ramen packets, extra food, just in case. Oh, okay, yeah. These are little emergency tools. This one's got saw, little saw blade stuff. One of the edges has got a bevel on it, so you can cut with it, you can saw with it. It's got different screw options, bottle opener, stuff like that. I thought, what the heck? Came with some stuff that I was buying. What's this? Oh, this is you know, Swiss pocket knives, Victorinox. You know, the Swiss pocket knives. This is just one of those kind of options. Got a magnifying glass. You can start fires with that. And then it's got all your little tools. Fits right in your wallet. Your scissors are right here. Okay. There are the scissors. And there's a little knife, a little file, you know, toothpicks, stuff like that. That's what that is. Okay. I was wondering, what the hell? So, in case of an emergency and you don't have your Swiss Army knife on you, there you go. You can get something like that. And keep that in your wallet or whatever. But I keep it in my pack. Got, like I said, Blistex cotton. Oh, what the hell? Oh, a magnet. You know, so if you need to, if you have a little piece of wire or something, you can magnetize and find true north just by using a leaf in water, and you would put a magnetized metal clip and it'll point to true north. Okay. Matches, other matches. This is an emergency, one of those survival saws that really don't work. I would recommend the Belco, Laplander, or the Silky. This is a magnesium stick. Okay, you've seen these things. Cody Lundeen used to be a big fan of these. You just scrape the magnesium off this. Comes with a little ferro rod right here. Okay, so you would scrape, get you a little pile going on. Easy way to start a fire. Okay. Let's just get this stuff out of the way. I'm not going to put it all away now. This is my swamp romper. Comes with the sheath that it comes with has a place to keep a ferro rod. So tallow, by the way, I kind of showed you how to make your own tallow or lard. You want to keep that in the fridge, by the way. Just saying. I cook with it. I cook with lard. I cook with tallow. Keep it in the fridge. It's a good way to do it. Now, so what I would do is in my waterproof thing has all the fire starting equipment. Well, not all of it, but most of it, a lot of it. I did make one of these for the wife too in her truck, her car. So she's got one in hers that you really don't see. She's kind of a professional, you know, so her friends wouldn't understand what the hell, you know. But if you have the kids, you're going to want to stay safe. So Moore's goes right on top there, bud. You know what I'm saying? Anyhow, Moore's is superstructure. If you're familiar with Moore's Kohansky, he was a survival instructor, one of the first. He also instructed in the military up in Alaska at Elmendorf Air Force Base. So Moore's had discovered a superstructure. Well, it was actually some of his students, his younger students. So you can look that up on YouTube and see some of that. How to use Mylar in a tent to keep yourself warm. Dave Canterbury just did, interestingly enough, just did a video on a modified, just using Mylar techniques, Mylar options, kind of using Moore's philosophy of employing that Mylar, which is really developed by NASA. So, and I did work at Cape Canaveral on a launch pad, so Dave and I have something in common there. I worked for 3 years for Raytheon during the construction of Launch Pad 32B, the launch pad for the Delta IV Heavy, which used to be the largest rocket in the world. So here's the beef, the main truck pack. Okay, this is the one that sits in the back on the floor between the kids. Basically, it's always there. Well, so I keep some fishing supplies there. My neighbor runs a fish and tackle store out of his house, on top of other things. But so I have some of his lures in here. Let's see, some bobs, extra wire, line, just in case. You never know. This is just a chainsaw tool bag. I keep, let's see, sugar right here for my coffee. Some dirty salt, I call it. It's basically salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder. Extra virgin olive oil. Right. Wild watermelon hot sauce. So, you know, I mean, you're going to want flavor. So, if you do have to cook, and you don't know how long you're going to be out there. This is a French press I found on eBay. See this? You would just put your coffee in here, right? Attach to this, it screws right on. You make your coffee. You got you a little coffee mug. I had one in the truck already. So, but I have others. You would make your coffee. Heat up your water on Dave's Pathfinder titanium canteen. And there you go. You know, you could press down. There's a little lid in here. And there you go. You can make your own coffee using that. Pretty easy. I also keep some Folgers Classic Roast. These are coffee bags. Okay? Pretty easy to do too. Just in case. Alright. Mylar. Okay, so yeah. I was on the turnover team at Cape Canaveral for Launchpad 32B, working for Raytheon Engineering, and our client was Boeing. So Mylar is used all over the space, you know, satellites, everything, you know, Hubble, all that is Mylar. So it will, if you're trying to keep sun and heat off you, face the shiny side of the Mylar at the sun. Okay, if you're trying to keep sun and heat in, you know, get in front of the sunny side. That's why Moore's philosophy, you know, using it inside of a structure, very good. So Mylar works. I got little sharpening stone for my knives, for my axes, little marbles, sharpening stone right there. Some more emergency tools. My buddy Steve gave me this. Well, it's actually for Pat, but until I train Pat on how to use a knife properly, that's going to go in the truck pack. So it fits in there nicely. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate that, buddy. So yeah, one of my neighbors is Navy. Steve is old Army, vet, Afghanistan. This, my other neighbor up here is Army from Vietnam. So here's another alcohol stove. So if you're not interested in starting a twig fire and all that, you can keep a little alcohol stove in this one. Okay, so right there, it's got, so I've got a couple of these. One for the house, one for the truck. So this goes right in there. Fits nicely. Keep some denatured alcohol safely, bubble wrap. some potable aqua tabs. Okay, very easy. 1-in-1 drops if you don't have water. It might be summertime, but there's a pond down there. You can just go get some pond water. Using this, it'll it'll disinfect that water, so it's safe to use. You could also boil that water just in case. Fat wood retains, there's a lot of resin in there. It's basically a fire starter, so you got fat wood. More Mylar. It's good to have. This is an emergency fish kit. I got this from a company down in Florida. It's got some fishing line. I think it was 200 feet of fishing line, some hooks, bob, whatever else it's got in there. It's got a little ferro rod. You know, you find yourself in an emergency on the open waters. Always have a few lighters, safety pins, extra cordage, ranger bands, ferro rods, alcohol pads. Batteries can be used to start fires too. And this is another option. So that folds down like so. Inside, well, there's some coffee. I do like my coffee. So inside you got a little coffee pot or tea, whatever you're going to do. You can put stuff in here too, you know. There you go. You can put that on your alcohol stove, heat up real quick. It's got measurements. You can keep your tea bags in there, whatever. It was small enough for the truck pack. Okay, so that's that. Now, this didn't take long to set up. This is a, let's see, it's a membrane water filter plus cup. Okay, so it's one of those collapsible cups. Okay, one of those collapsible cups comes with a water filter. Okay, it collapses down. So guess what? Truck back. Boom. Who made it? Well, I think it was Aqua Sun or something like that. It's on eBay. You can check them out. You can also put a entrenching tool, military entrenching tool. Some of you guys were issued this. You can also get this at the surplus supply stores. You can keep that in your truck. It's got sharp edge and a serrated edge for cutting through roots. Use that to clear, brush, whatever. You can also do something like this. I'm gonna just show you this quickly. I was gonna make this a different video, but here's another camp setup right here. Okay. This is normally a bag that you would keep your knee pads in on your rucksack. Let's get rid of this. That's the truck pack. Okay. So, if you don't have a wool blanket, you get something like this. It's a bedroll. So, it's a blanket. See? That's a blanket. I'll do a video on half this stuff. But I want to make sure you guys have some different options, some different ideas to prepare your car. So this side is a ground protection mat. The inside's a nice warm wool blanket. So option right there. Instead of keeping a tent or whatever, you can slide that under one of the seats, keep it in your trunk. This is a micro chuck box. Okay. So I'll do a video on this, but this, I just use Velcro. This has got some emergency tools in here. This is some fishing lure, some tea, some band-aids, okay, bob, lighter. This little thing right here, this is a thread. Hang on. This is a thread bomb. You can find these in the department store in the sewing section. They sell these little things right here. Wrap some fish line around that. This is about 150 feet of line there. This is just a micro razor knife for cutting. Okay, so little pencil matches, stormproof matches, toothpicks, Neosporin underneath. Right, so you got your Folgers, your tea. This is an Isbit stove down here. I'll go over this in detail later. So this is going to be another alcohol stove. I'll just put some holes around the top, put a big hole in the middle, denatured alcohol right here, olive oil right here for cooking, ferro rod, whistle, some of my neighbor's lures right here, the sparkly stuff so fish can see it. It's Girth Fish Supply or whatever online. So that is a micro chuck box. I'll go over that in more detail at a later date, but you could do something like that, put that in your trunk. Okay, so you usually keep that in there along with this, so that all tucks away. You can keep that in your car or your trunk or your truck if you don't have access to one of these, something like that. I mean, it's like a little jewelry box, but think out of the box, right? And get some stuff in your car just in case something should happen while you're on the road and it's freezing cold. So this weekend they're calling for another storm, like we went over at the beginning of the video. Another storm. Okay. So in the meantime, it's freezing cold. It's going to get into the teens overnight. You're going to wake up, it's going to be 10 degrees with the wind chill. Without the wind chill, it's going to be 13 degrees. So, after a storm, everyone knows when you have a cold front and a warm front coming together, you're going to have thunderstorms. After that, low front, it's usually followed by a high pressure zone. When you have those high pressure zones, the air cools off, it's drier. So that's what's going to happen now that we've had that warm front go through, right? Now you're getting that high pressure zone and it's going to freeze. So all of this melting stuff is going to turn to black ice. If you're on the road and you're not used to driving in these conditions and you hit a patch of black ice, kind of just take your foot off the gas. Okay, I know it's hard to tell a guy like named Swift, it's my middle name, to slow down, but what you want to do is take your foot off the gas, pump the brakes, steer into the slide a little bit. So you're going to be sliding, so you hit a patch of black ice, foot off the gas, pump the brakes, don't slam the brakes on. You're going to make it worse and you're going to go spinning out everywhere. So just some techniques and some different options. This is actually chainsaw cord, but for the purposes of the video, I wanted to show you some cordage you should have. Get some bank line with tar on it. So if you have to set up an emergency shelter using a poncho or something like that, bank line number 38 bank line with coal tar, tar treated bank line. Very easy to hold that knot and everything like that. It's very inexpensive. You can find it. Dave's got it on his website. He sells it. So he sells a lot of stuff. Another option for water. Got this from Sean. Is the GeoPress. Okay, so it's the Grail GeoPress. This one's in honor of Sean, Coyote Brown, Marine. So a Grail GeoPress, basically, you know, you're out in the wilderness. Like I said, it's summertime. You don't have water. You can keep this in your truck. You don't have water. You can go down to that pond or that stream and use this to fill up your water. This comes out right here. You fill up your water. Take that press. Has that the interior. I'm not gonna. I'll do a video on it. But you can fill it up. Use the GeoPress filter and slam that down in through the water. Will be nice and filtered. Doesn't take any time at all. So another good option for the truck or the car for emergencies or camping, you know, whatever. You could use it while you camp. Half this stuff is just camping equipment. I didn't just buy all this stuff. I've had it. So we do, you know, camping and whatever. So the one thing I haven't done is winter camping, but these are just some options as part of my military training. I was search and rescue, so we did weeks out in the forest, out in the woods, you know, looking for pilots, looking for aircraft parts. It wasn't just air traffic, you have additional duties. So as part of that, we did have survival training and all that stuff. I mean, it was like every 6 months. So I was in for, you know, for a good while. Anyhow, I think that's it. It's going to be freezing cold. Expect black ice down here in the south. Be careful on the roads and be ready for round 2 of the winter storm. It's supposed to hit this weekend. I'm already watching, so we'll see what happens. But in the meantime, you can put a truck pack together, you know, or car, any car that's at your house, one for you, one for your wife, and get all that stuff done. All right, until the next time, guys, this has been Pat at the Reed Homestead. God bless. Have a good night. See ya.